Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's Win Tickets Wednesday. We got tickets to see Motley Crue, the return of the Carnival of Sins tour with performances by Tesla and Extreme at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater September 21st. Tickets are on sale at livenation.com. You can win right now. Caller 12-801-575-ZONE. 2 tickets. Let's go. 801-575-ZONE. You know that Will Ferrell meme? I'm a glass case of emotion. And he's in an old school telephone booth beating on the glass.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You ever use a telephone booth?
No, I've never been in one. But it's like a bucket list item for me.
This is so great having you on the show. All these things that are normal to PK and I, and life moves along, you know, and you just like, you don't understand. And see, I've been scarred by my childhood. I'm trying to match what my grandmother dropped on me, and I'll never do it. She just looked at me one day. I was talking about, you know, I don't know how old I was. I don't know if it was in high school or college, but I was talking about how, you know, things are changing, right? And she looks at me and she goes, "You think things are changing?" Oh yeah, they're changing. She just super calm, right? Lived 2 blocks from me, nicest lady, freaking adored her. She spoiled me her whole life. She just looks at me and goes, "When I grew up, San Diego had dirt streets downtown. There was no pavement. It was all dirt. And I lived to see man walk on the moon." Checkmate. It's over. Throw the towel. Throw the dang towel. That's another movie reference you probably don't get.
No.
That's
I'll have to add it to the list.
Rocky
I've got
movies.
List.
Go check them.
Gotcha.
Throw the towel. Okay. Throw the towel, man. I'm a glass case of emotion. I got a lot of things. There's a lot of stories going on. There's a lot of vibes this morning. I'm feeling bad for Oakland sports fans. They lost the Raiders, they lost the Athletics, and it's back in front because they're putting the steel up that's going to support the roof in Vegas. Except, you know, Bally's might be out of money, and are they selling land around the state? It just seems like a whole drama. It's a whole thing. You got people who have a lot of money, but they don't have quite enough money for what they're doing, and they got to leverage it out of somebody else, and they hold sports fans hostage. It sucks. And Bryce Harper, who's right in the middle of it, and I got to say, I'm not the biggest Bryce Harper fan. He doesn't exude a lot of joy when he plays sports. He's an angry guy. I don't really identify with angry guy. You give me happy, joyful guy bouncing around. Yeah, I get that. Steph Curry hitting shots and then celebrating in the Olympics to win the gold medal. I get that. I understand. I don't get the whole scowl, tough guy. Come on, man. You're making millions and you're playing sports. Come on. But, man, I got it. Bryce Harper nailed it. I mean, 100%. And coming out and, you know, biting the hand that feeds him, which makes it better, and saying it'd be better if Vegas got an expansion team, like they did in hockey. You know, taking somebody else's team, it's not really your team. They come in with this history. You ripped them off from someone else. They're not really yours. If they left somebody else, well, they leave you. It doesn't sit right, you know? And I think he can really speak to that because he played for the Nationals, who were ripped off from Montreal, the Expos. And, you know, we may have a lockout here in the summer of 27. And the Rays have a good team, and are they going to get a stadium? Are they going to stay in Tampa? You know, nothing like winning a World Series, right? And Montreal, they were in the mix. They could have won that World Series in '94, and then maybe they get a new stadium and instead of playing in a concrete dome in the Olympic Dome, which, you know, zero atmosphere. Maybe they could have gotten something nice, and they could have stayed. And now he plays for the Phillies, and they've been there for 125 years. I mean, the Phillies, it's a perfect nickname, fits the city, fits the Philadelphia Phillies. Like, they're just in the fabric of it's awesome. That's what sports should be. And I'm thinking about all that, thinking like, the Padres are all I got left. Yeah, there's a little pity party in here. Yeah, so? You'll learn this about me. I'm good at very few things. Alex, I have one marketable skill. I can talk. That's it. After that, it gets pretty thin pretty fast. And here's another thing. I'm really good at the pity parties. But a lot of practice. Lost to Clippers. Loved having the NBA in town, even though they were only there briefly. I mean, they were there less than a decade. It's not like they put down roots. Ripped them off from Buffalo. LA ripped them off from us. It's a franchise with no there. Be somewhere, create a story. There's no there. Weird ownership, crazy ownership, cheating ownership. Chargers, though, fabric of the community. The Chargers, okay. Ripped out. It sucked. All I got left is the Padres. I was ready to give them up for dead earlier this year. Give them up for dead. Machado started hitting. And then last night, Fernando Tatis put on a show. 2 home runs and pull a grand slam back in the park. And then know you did it, but it happened so fast, the ball's right at the wall and nobody else knows, and you just stand there. I've retweeted it. You can look at it. The video's all over the place anyway. He just stands there. He just kind of looks at everybody like, you want to know, don't you? I'm not going to tell you. 1,001, 1,002. He counted his 3 Mississippis. and then he flips the ball out of his glove into his throwing hand and throws it back in. Like, you are such a showman, man. But you know what? If I pulled a grand slam back in the park in a major league game, I'd probably want a moment too. Why not? I'm a glass case of emotion. Feeling bad for the Athletics. Feeling good for the Padres. Feeling anticipatory for college sports. And I was hoping to talk football with Ron McBride, but we've had a problem there. We'll have to reschedule that. All right, fine. Mac's one of the few who gets to go in. We used to go to scrimmages back in the day, and now you can't. A few people ruined it for everybody. I really think, and they won't do this, but, it's my own personal dream as a media member. There should just be, like, security clearances and background, I remember Chris Hill, and it was probably early in the Pac-12 era. It's like, yeah, we don't know what to do with practice. We don't know what to do. And you're not the problem, but there's all these people showing up, and you don't know. And I knew what he was talking about because I'd already heard the stories. Lavelle Edwards last year, which was the year you turned 1. But they played, oh no, I take that back. It was 1999, so it was the year you were born. What month were you born? When's your birthday?
November.
You're a Scorpio?
Scorpio, yes.
Scorpios are the best.
Yes,
the
and
best.
I think you are
yes,
too.
I am. Of course I am. Why am I saying they're the best? Not hearing me pump up December. PK's got a December birthday. PK can pump up PK. PK's very good at that. He can do that when he comes back. Meanwhile, I'll pump up me. When he comes back, he's just going to make fun of me. I got 3 days of peace, man. You going to bring in a co-host, DJ, and have him make fun of me? What'd I do that for? I got PK for that. Can't have someone stealing PK's gig. Come on now. So it would be a couple months before you were born. Lavelle was getting ready for the opener. Rick Neuheisel, the commentator, was the new coach at Washington. And they were getting ready. That was the big game, in the Mountain West era. And it was actually, I think, the debut of the Mountain West. It was the debut of the Mountain West. It was BYU's first game in the Mountain West. And they're getting ready, and somebody walked up to Lavelle and gave him a sheet of paper and said, hey, I went to Washington's open scrimmage. I diagrammed all their plays for you. And Lavelle was like, you did? I think it took a minute to process. You did what? Did someone ask you to do that, or you just think this is a good idea? Because this could be a bad idea very quickly. I was told he sent him back to Rick and called and said, hey, you're going to get this stuff in the mail. I had to look at it. I was giving it at practice. Now what we do, somebody's just, got an eager beaver over here trying to overachieve. I'm sending it back to you. Little did we know, Bill Belichick was on the line. Wait a minute, that's a good idea. Let's get a Spygate thing going. I might be able to win a Super Bowl or two. But Lavelle apparently called Rick and mailed him back. And nobody could get mad at Lavelle and stay mad at Lavelle. So I guess it all just worked out. But that's why they got to close practices. Because there's one in every crowd. And it's every fan base to do it. There's always somebody who thinks that kind of stuff's a good idea. So I get why we're closed out. But it'd be good to talk to Mac because as a mentor and a guy who gave a bunch of people breaks and helped people through hard times, he's got deep bonds with people both at Utah and BYU. And he's not willing to tell everything, but he's willing to tell some stuff. So we'll see if we can reschedule him and get him in. All right. That's something. All right. Earlier today, we covered a little bit of the NFL news. People say weird stuff, man. I love some of this stuff, though. Von Miller begins to work on his dream of being a Dallas Cowboy. That was your dream. Wouldn't you have done it like 5 or 10 years earlier in your career? How old is Von Miller now? Is he like 35?
I think he might be getting closer to 40.
Oh, he's 37. He turned 37 in March. It's my dream to be a Dallas Cowboy. Well, I'm not going to say this. You had a whole career to get there, and you're playing for your 5th team now. Couldn't have been your dream a year ago when you went to the Commanders? Had his best times in Denver, obviously, and helped Peyton Manning win a Super Bowl. See what he's still got in the tank. There's something to be said for that. Veterans, you're used to big games. You're not an every-down guy, but you provide depth, you provide leadership. You can go in and you still make a big play. And do you ever have enough good defensive linemen? I can't imagine he is what he was, but he was so awesome. If he's even 80% of that, yeah, it's worth it. But I love it. Oh, it's my dream to be a Cowboy. Come on, man. You're 37. You're on your 5th team. If it were your dream, you would have gotten it done earlier. Multiple brawls marring the Saints-Cowboys joint practice session. You know why? It's because they're bad people. That's why. That's why they were fighting. Bad people.
I thought it was because they signed Von Miller.
No, it's because they're stupid. That's why. What are you doing fighting and hitting people? You're going to break your hand. They got helmets and pads on. Stop it. You want to wrestle a guy to a ground, stick your knee in the chest. I get it. It's a physical sport. There's a lot of adrenaline pumping. Jobs are at stake. It's like this stuff bores us. But for a lot of people, I've mentioned this. I randomly ran into Britton Covey. Where? At Cafe Rio. Why? Because it's Utah. I don't know. We're at the airport. And he was talking about that. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's on. It's camp's opening. I said, man, you had the best quote. You came on. And he just looks at me like, uh-oh, what did I say? No, it was legitimately the best quote. No sarcasm. He was talking about how you look over and you say, hey, where's I'm seeing Bob. Where's Bob? They let Bob go Tuesday. What? Guys just coming all the time. He goes, yeah. He says, you think my adrenaline, you think my ears don't go up if some of the adrenaline starts pumping? Like, what'd they bring in a 5'8" wide receiver for? Like, hey now. It's my gig. And that's what it's like. So I actually get why these guys snap. It just strikes me as crazy. Because, like, don't get hurt. For most of you, that just gives somebody else a chance to play and take your job. So knock it off. I mean, I get the adrenaline's popping, and we always see this stuff every August. Say, football's almost here. Somewhere, somebody's going to get in a fight. So there they did. Some guys, though, are talking right on point. Najee Harris, he has a lot to prove after signing with the Giants. Yeah, that's why you didn't have a team. That's why they don't believe in you. They certainly don't believe in you at the price you want. I mean, it can be a little bit of money. Maybe you could have had a team earlier, but it wasn't enough cash. But, yeah, there's a lot to prove. I mean, at least prove, if you're signing for the minimum, you're just proving you can be in the league. If you're signing for double the minimum and you had to hold out for that, then you had to prove you're owed this money. And it's a one-year deal, so prove it again next year. And Keenan Allen, just same deal. Just went to the Colts after he went to the Chargers, which he was back on his second tour there. So we're seeing these stories all the time. And then Roger Goodell says there's no doubt the NFL will have a team based outside the U.S. I expect that will happen. I'm really curious on where. I think the jet lag's a huge problem to solve. I have read about them going to double buys. I think they need to. I don't understand what they're doing. They're just screwing up in Australia. I think they should go there 100%. They should go to Melbourne. They should go to Sydney for sure. Those are two cities they should go to. All sports are getting international. I think the PGA Tour has to figure out how to do international events with the DP Tour or the Australia-Asia Tour. Do some kind of something in the fall, because once you go overseas, you're playing at odd times. You're not playing at, you're not on from 1 to 4 in the afternoon for us here in the Mountain Time Zone. But there's money to be made in the rest of the world. And these guys all work for international conglomerates selling shoes, selling drinks, selling cars. It doesn't matter if it's Nike or if it's Ford or it's Toyota or it's Coke or Pepsi or whoever. Like, they're selling in Australia, they're selling in Europe, they're selling in South Africa, they're selling it here. So all these sports are going to go international, and you may not like it, but we have to accept it. But basing a team there, I think you go, you dip in, you dip out. That seems a little more negotiable for me. And the fact that the NFL doesn't have a week 0, and this is just, honestly, the NFL should hire me as a consultant. I could make them money. I have no doubt. San Francisco, the Niners and Rams are going to Australia. They should have gone a week early. There should be one more week of Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football. Figure it out. And they should give them a bye week. They shouldn't be playing week 1. They should just move their opener back a full week. They're going to need that time. The jet lag going to and from Australia, having done it around the 2000 Olympics, I went when you were a year old. We're just going to keep playing this game. You're going to entertain me so much, Alex. I'm so glad you're here. You can't go anywhere. You're here. You're here for my entertainment. Don't take off on me, Alex. Having done it, I can tell you, the jet lag, it wasn't that bad going there. There's something, I haven't done this enough. The people who travel, I have a friend who's in the insurance business, back to international stuff, and he's based in California, but he has to fly to London for work a few times a year. Tough gig. And yes, he times it to go to NFL games and Major League Baseball when they play over there. Yes, he's a huge sports fan. And there's something about flying east to west that apparently is harder. Because I had a little bit of jet lag when I went there, but it hit me like a ton of bricks coming back. Just crushed me. I can't imagine. I could barely stay awake. I can't imagine trying to play an NFL game at a high level while someone's trying to run by me or blow me up. Massive. Man, I don't know what the point spread's going to be, but pick against them if you're in some pool at work or whatever. Niners, Rams, L. I might pick against them week 3, too. I still don't know if you're back. Now, former NFL Senator Ryan Khalil went on, and you played this bite earlier. He thinks that the NFL is going to Monterey or Mexico City, which does solve the time zone issue, as would Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, something like that. But they don't seem to want to wreck the Canadian Football League, which I don't understand because the NFL is willing to wreck anything else. World Series, bring it on. College football playoffs, absolutely. 2 things they won't wreck. They haven't played on New Year's Day, yet. I said, there's a handful of people who know a funny story from work 15 years ago who are like, he's not going to say that on the air. No, I'm not. It's totally inappropriate. I'm not going to. Have I told you that story, Alex?
I don't think you have. No.
I'll have to tell you that story sometime. It's a funny story. But anyways, yet. But other than that, now going to Monterey, Mexico, the security angle, it just doesn't make sense to me because I hear about these teams. Major League Baseball's gone to Monterey, and they've gone to Mexico multiple times. And obviously soccer does, and the NFL has. And the standard protocol, regardless of the league, is you fly the team in, you put them on a bus, and you take them to the hotel, and then you tell them you can't leave the hotel. And I've had multiple players say, yeah, that was pretty wild. There were armed guards at the doors. Wild. And this isn't just Mexico, Costa Rica, Colombia, Venezuela, on down the list. We've had a couple games in Brazil. I don't know about that, but I think it's a similar deal, but I'm not informed on Brazil. I haven't heard that story. But just the security angle, you're a target. You make too much money, and you're very visible. And so they get on a bus, and they go straight to the stadium, and then from the stadium, they go straight to the airport, and they fly out. I can't imagine putting a team there and handling that security. It's not like stuff doesn't happen here, because it just happened with Savannah Guthrie's mom, right? But the celebrity and the money makes you a bigger target in a place that has more poverty and has cartels and whatever else is going on. And does that mean that there's a story here about Kirk Gibson in his garage and somebody waiting for him? And that story's like 35 years old. And obviously the Guthrie story is very recent. And these stories are all tragedies wherever they happen. And they just don't happen here as much, but they happen here, to be sure. And I just can't imagine the security angle, how you would do that. I mean, these guys' salaries are published. Their pictures are everywhere online. I mean, it'd just be such a target. I can't imagine players would want to play there, and I think they'll be pushed back from the union at some point. And for the rest of them, the jet lag, I just can't imagine a team in London or Berlin. Apparently, the NFL is really big in Germany, and there's a huge American influence. There's so many bases there. So many people speak English there. It's a natural fit. But man, if you don't put a whole division there, the jet lag. And that's why the NBA was always talking about putting a division there, but now they're going to do this NBA Europe. It's finally like, yeah, what are we doing, man? It's like the travel, and then we think these guys are going to have legs. They're supposed to, run fast, jump high. I mean, that's the magic of the league. These guys can do stuff the rest of us can't do. You ever been in a pickup basketball game with a college player? Not an NBA guy, a college guy. Completely blow your mind. Like, we're not even playing the same sport. I was in a pickup game. I just moved here. I recognized a guy. He'd already graduated, played up at the U. He's in the game. And it's a bunch of 5'10", 6-foot white guys who played high school basketball and put on 20 pounds. And Walter Walt showed up. So Walter is like 5,000 times better than everyone on the court. I'm running down the left-hand side, and I could go at the hoop, but there's a guy who's about to cut me off, and I see Walter just cruising down the middle of the floor. He's in third gear. There's no way he's put this thing in fourth or fifth. That's for stick shift. And you don't know anything about that.
No, I do. I do.
You
know,
do?
I
You
do
drive
know
a
the stick
stick?
shift. I don't drive a stick, but I know the stick
You've heard
shifts.
of them, though.
Yes, I never learned.
Okay.
I never learned how to.
Probably just as well. When you learn, you get whiplash. Eventually, you get it down. Start to stop. Could have killed my mom when she was teaching me how to do that. Anyway, Walter's just cruising down the middle of the court, and I'm thinking, I'd have just throw him a lob just because I don't play with guys who can, I'd throw him a lob, man. 6'10" college guy. And I just, off the dribble, just one hand just flow up. There's no pressure on me. It's easy pass, right? I just throw it up the rim. And it didn't even look like he jumped. It was like a hop maybe. And he just caught it, bam, and threw it down, turned around, just gave me a little smile and nod like, thanks for doing that. I didn't think you could do that. I look that pathetic, don't I? You don't even think I can throw a lob. Well, you're wrong, but you're not wrong by much. You're only wrong by a little bit. Oh, man. And then we'd expect these guys to travel internationally and then play at this super high level that, you're paying $1 gazillion to see them play at. Yeah, that's not realistic. All right, DJ and PK, we got to take a break. A lot going on. We have some sound from Aaron Roderick. Can we play this on the other side? Please, please. Yes, I'm getting a thumbs up from Alex. You got to hear this. Coaches are really good at being interviewed. They're interviewed a lot. Now, it's not everyone gets really good at it, but a lot of people get good at it. And A-Rod's been doing this a long time. He's gotten very good at it. When you hear him start to giggle when he says somebody's name, that means that guy's really good. We'll get to that next. Stay with us right here on The Zone.
For all of you, less motivated listeners, it's time for your 9 o'clock. Where the heck have you been headlines?
Where you at?
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I don't think we have the exact depth set yet, but Preston Rex is going to play this year. Devon's going to play this year. And then this kid Journey, he's I don't know, we haven't ruled him out yet. He is explosive. Like every time he touches the ball, something exciting happens, it seems like. So, and then obviously LJ and Sione are two lead guys, and they're both playing really good football.
That was awesome. That was A-Rod right there. It is time to get you up to date on everything you missed in this show. Slacker Radio Headlines. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 1-855-TRAJAN1, or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Interviews can be a whole dance. They know the questions. We know the answers. You got to go down there and do that. But every once in a while, as they're giving their answers, how they answer the question means more than the actual words. So Alex is going to play it again. I want you to listen as he's listing all the players. As he gets to Journey, first there's a little snort. That should wake you out of your stupor of asking, what am I going to ask for my next question? And get you focused on the answer. Then there's a little childlike giggle like, this is unbelievable. Uh-oh, he's been doing stuff. Even the coaches are running the practice tape back going, look at this. Hey, call another position coach. Hey, look at this. Get an analyst in here. Hey, look at this. They're super excited about the possibilities. Listen one more time. Listen for the mini little snort and then the giggle/chuckle. Those are very telling.
I don't think we have the exact depth set yet, but Preston Rex is going to play this year. Devon's going to play this year. And then this kid Journey, he's I don't know, we haven't ruled him out yet. He is explosive. Like every time he touches the ball, something exciting happens, it seems like. So, and then obviously LJ and Sione are two lead guys, and they're both playing really good football.
See, he composes himself after that, but for just a second there, a giggle and a snort. What does it mean? I don't know, man. It means something good. But cue up the Journey music. Yeah, then you'll be able to post on YouTube, though. Journey will probably knock you off that. Yeah, you got to be careful there. Journey Tonga, 5'8" running back, freshman from Lusinger High School in Lawndale, California. Now, don't expect anything right away. You know the old cliche with freshmen. Until you know all the blitz pickups, you don't get to play because you don't get Bear Bachmeier blown up. That whole thing we were doing about Jackson Dart, yeah, that's because a running back missed a blitz pickup. So now he's lying on the ground like he's dead. So now he's got to go to the blue tent and get the concussion protocol. So all the ex-players are saying, well, Jackson, if you don't like that, you got to get up off the deck faster. I've heard an ex-quarterback say it. I've heard an ex-lineman say it. They all know it. If you stay on the ground, people think you're hurt. If you get up real quick, it's like, oh, that was a nasty hit. All right, what are we doing on third down? So you got to get up quicker. But if you really run it back, Jackson wouldn't be in the 10 if somebody could pick up a blitz. And that's the problem with freshman running backs. You're there because you're fast, you're shifty, you probably ran for 100 touchdowns against completely overmatched high school players. I've only seen it done a couple times in high school, but I have literally seen a really good running back run at a linebacker or a safety and put a couple moves on him so bad that the defender spun around and fell down without being touched. And I've seen it twice, once in person and once on tape. When I was in Santa Barbara anchoring, a guy came back with a tape and he's, hey, you got to see this, right? The show's over. It's late there. The news is at 11. So it's probably midnight because we were on until 11:45. So, yeah, you may have seen the highlights, but we got to go for it. You got to see this. There's a running back at Lompoc High who ended up playing for the Raiders. And he went through a big hole, saw the linebacker, started to lean inside, leaned outside, cut back inside. Linebacker spun around and fell down. Napoleon Kaufman, I think was his name. And then Reno Mahi did it. I was at Brighton High, and he did it to a safety. And they were running, if you're in the press box, they were running left to right. And I was standing like the 20-yard line of scrimmage is like they're midfield or something, 40, I don't know. And he blows through. He's got one guy to beat. And then again, left. No, it was right. He went left, right, left. And the dude just spun around and went down. And Reno jogged in the end zone. You're like, oh, really? You have to do that to a high school kid? And sure enough, both guys ended up being college stars. And both guys ended up playing in the NFL. Awesome. Tremendous. So I just wonder if that's what Journey is. But that's why you get recruited, but you got to play, you got to be able to handle all the blitz pickups. He listed Journey's name later, but something's going to happen there. Keep your eye on it. And remember, you heard it here first. The story is out. We have to get into this more tomorrow. I have a bunch more stuff on this, so we'll have to do a segment on this tomorrow. But BYU Notre Dame sold out. Prices for tickets on the secondary market are climbing, and I have a friend, and he takes his kids to BYU games, and his boys he might have one in, I think 8th grade is his oldest now, but maybe it's 9th. And then they're younger from there. So he's getting to the point, elementary, junior high, maybe elementary, junior high school. And so he's a huge sports fan. They're huge sports fans. And so he takes them to the game, and he's counting the days. You know, he knows he's going to be an empty nester and like, build the memories now, build the memories now, build the habits now. I said, so you're going to take your kids to the Notre Dame game because it's a big deal, and it's a game they're going to remember. I mean, I can take you back to specific games when I was in elementary and junior high. One of them involves Ron McBride, and he's going to be in tomorrow. We've rescheduled him for tomorrow. And we'll have to talk about that game because it turned out he was coaching at that game, and I was in elementary school sitting in the stands. And something happened to that game. We'll get into it tomorrow. So I'm talking to this friend of mine who has BYU season tickets. I'm like, so you take because this will be the memories, right? Oh, we saw BYU Notre Dame. Or do you sell them because it'll pay for this year's tickets and next year's tickets? And he's a working guy. He's not sitting on family money. He hasn't won the lottery. You know, he's a working guy. He works for a school district. He gets paid well, but it's not, it's not just running down, driving down the freeway, throwing $20 bills out the window. He's torn right now. He hasn't decided yet. He's leaning towards going. But when I tell him, I heard $26,000 for a ticket, it's like, I might have to rethink this. Because I'm pretty sure he has 4 tickets. I could be wrong, but I think he has 4. I don't think he rotates the kids through. I think he has 4 tickets. So that'd be $100,000 if he has good enough tickets. And I don't think the 26,000 are probably a little more special location. But if you have BYU tickets and you're mulling it over, go check out the secondary market. I don't think you can replace the memories. But nor am I here to tell you shouldn't go make 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 depending on where your tickets are and depending on how bad Irish fans want to get their hands on them. We had on John Talty from CBS Sports and from 24/7 Sports. And he wrote a story that's behind a paywall, so he's given us info, but he clearly didn't want to give all of the info, and we appreciate coming on, and we're not paying him, so I couldn't really beat him up. So you could just listen to it, and you hear the whole dance as I try to pry more info out of him, and he tries to give him enough to be interesting and get you to read the story, but not tell you everything so you don't have to read the story. I love this stuff. Alex is sitting in there laughing the whole time. Lloyd's peering around the edge of the window going, oh, just say it already. Well, he's not gonna. He's dependent on subscriptions for his job. Those sites, man, we read about people getting laid off at those sites. I don't want the dude to get laid off. I appreciate him coming on the show. Anyway, so he did a bunch of research and admitted, hey, he got lied to a lot. And I brought up the Walt Perrin Liars Club, and he's a Knicks fan. He knows exactly who I know who Walt Perrin is. I'm like, okay, well, it's hilarious. And he played it for laughs every year. Liars Club is in session. What about so-and-so? Do you think he'll so-and-so? He's like, I heard. And he goes, you heard? Liars Club is in session. And it was awesome because you didn't see him much after the draft, but you might see him like once or twice, at Summer League or something like that. I say, well, remember when you got asked about so-and-so, about whether he's top 10? And I noticed he went like 21. And he'd look at it and he goes, Liars Club is in session. I'll talk to you guys all day because that's what Kevin wants me to do, but Liars Club is in session. So John went through Liars Club and talked to agents for coaches, agents for players. He talked to head coaches and tried to get a sense and put together how much of the rosters, apparently talked to like more than 50 people. And even one of the reasons he didn't go hard on the numbers is even he admits they're still squishy because Liars Club is in session. People have their motivations for underselling numbers and for overselling numbers. They're going to inflate them. They're going to deflate them. Sounds like there ought to be a joke in there somewhere, but we'll just keep going. If PK were here, he'd have something. He'd have something right there. Boom, boom, boom. But basically it comes down to the teams you think are mostly in the $40 million range. He said Texas Tech was in the low $30 million range. Although if Sorsby were there and he were making $5 million, they'd be in the mid to high 30s. And he listed a bunch of schools that were under 20 and said Colorado might be at 15. Well, that might make it hard for Deion to win, huh? It does sound like Utah and BYU are in the low $20 million-ish range. Now, I've heard some numbers from BYU in association with all this stuff about Kalani being unhappy, and they were below 20. Well, below 20, and I hesitate to, because I know people use this year number, last year number, and it's squishy, man. So I hate to crawl out on a limb and say, this is the number, because I know I'm not positive. So I'm not going there. But he made it sound that Utah and BYU are in the upper portion. He did list some schools. Kansas doesn't have money. UCF doesn't have money. Cincinnati doesn't have money. Houston was way down, although they're getting better. They were basically the schools that came out of the American don't have the money. That's where he was going with that. Although Kansas has been a long time, but Cincinnati and Houston and UCF all moved to jump from the American. And so behind financially, it makes total sense that they would be down in the $15 million range. So you can listen to that interview wherever you get your podcast, KSLSports.com, KSL Sports app, go to YouTube. It's all over the place. Really interesting with him. We also had Bill Bender on talking all sorts of stuff. The pressure to win at LSU, the pressure to win at USC. Oh, John Talty said USC has the money. He doesn't buy it. He's never really bought that coaching hire and thinks there could be change there. Bill Bender came on and talked a lot of Big 12 football, Utah, BYU, Texas Tech, Houston, Arizona, his take on these teams, who's good, who's not, who's a maybe. PK brought up TCU. You know the thing about TCU, and it is a new era, and so I don't know how they're set up financially, but there's just so much talent in Texas, and they got a really good football culture there. Now, maybe they just can't run down Texas Tech because they don't have the cash. But, man, they ought to be good enough to take people down. They ought to be good enough to beat people. They've done their whole Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, and then national title game. And I know things have changed since then. And for some people, they've changed a lot. But I can't discount TCU and count them out. Talked about Stuart Mandel of The Athletic. He picked BYU to beat Houston in the Big 12 championship game. Contrarian going against Texas Tech. For him to be right, we'll know right away because Houston plays Texas Tech week 3. It's the conference opener. We got to get into this more, too. Why is it just one conference game week 2 and one week 3? You know the TV schedule's light and the networks need properties, right? You got to go to the Mountain West and the Pac-12 and say, we'll play you, but you got to play weeks 4, 5, 6. You got to play non-conference games in October. Because we're going to play our conference games, and you should too, and the TV networks will appreciate that, and anything that creates more value that'll help you negotiate, get better ratings, get talked about, get seen, and help you when you have to renegotiate your next TV deal down the road. I think conference games week 2 and 3. I wouldn't ask coaches to do it week 1. I know some leagues do. I've never really liked it. They don't have preseason. They need a little bit of a shakeout cruise. So a non-conference game, a money game, whether it's a money game or a bigger non-conference game. North Carolina and TCU going to Ireland, and so a little bit of a risk there. It's a long way to travel, and it's your first game. I mean, one team's always going to win and one team's always going to lose whatever week you play, so I don't want to draw it out too much. But I get how that makes coaches uncomfortable, and you can only fight with your coaches so much. But conference games week 2 and 3 don't seem like too much to ask. Do it. Do it now. Major League Baseball, Ketel Marte back in Phoenix after the no-show. Diamondbacks still struggling. A, they miss his talent, and B, it just messes with the chemistry, and it's a distraction. And this is why coaches hate distractions. It's like managers hate distractions. They got beat 11-1 the day he didn't show up. Now they get beat 9-4. And it's Boston, and Boston's good, and maybe Boston would have beat him anyway, but they're giving up ground in the wild card race. With the Phillies and the Padres, it's 3 teams for 2 spots. Maybe the Cubs will come back to the pack. Maybe somebody like Miami, there's 2 or 3 other teams. Maybe St. Louis or somebody will get hot and catch up. But right now it looks like 3 teams for 2 spots. And the Diamondbacks are shooting themselves in the foot these last 2 days, which, as a Padre fan, I appreciate, and I'm sure they appreciate in Philadelphia too. I appreciate Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting 2 homers and then robbing Francisco Lindor of a grand slam. He's such a showboat, man. It's like, if everybody else in Major League Baseball hates Fernando Tatis Jr. for being a showboat, I get it. Yeah, and he shows up your team, bat flips after home runs and all that stuff. But that grand slam was so cool, and then he just stood there. And then he flicked the ball out of his glove and caught it and threw it back like, yeah, I got it. But I'm not going to tell you right away. I'm going to make you think about it. Such a showboat. But if he plays for your team, then you love him, and he sells a lot. He sells a lot of jerseys and T-shirts in San Diego. He sells a bunch of merchandise. Phillies also want to capitalize on the Diamondbacks' problems, and you want problems? How about Seattle beating 22-0 by Milwaukee? They did give up 9 in the 8th. They put a third baseman out there and I think it was Luis Perez, let him pitch, give up a bunch of runs. Ty's the biggest shutout in the modern era, but pitching's at a premium, so don't waste any of it when you're down 13-0. Put your third baseman out there. Best quote, Knicks title run. Embarrassing, according to the Nets owner. Insisted their crosstown rivals' recent success will not alter their rebuild trajectory. The trajectory is like the flat line in the hospital drama when somebody dies. That's the Nets trajectory. 20 years since the NBA Finals. And, Jazz have gone 25, going on 30 years since the NBA Finals. But how often do you win a playoff series? I mean, just qualify for the playoffs and win a series. Not very often. It's a struggle for the Nets. And they got some built-in advantages there in Brooklyn, you would think. And yet, does it happen? No, kind of a mess. They've won 2 playoff series in 19 years. It's not a big number. It's not much of a trajectory. Which of the top 4 NBA draft picks will win a championship first? ESPN's insiders say Darren Peterson is the most likely candidate. So there you go. How about that? How's that, Jazz fans, for a little August hype right there? Thank you, ESPN. Now, the Wizards, the Grizzlies, the Bulls. I think the Grizzlies have been pretty well run. They've had some problems, but they've done all right. They've drafted well. They've had some good teams there, and they don't have built-in advantages. You think Chicago and Washington could get it together, but they really can't. So I get why they say Utah, and you got the Angels who did it in Boston. So I get why ESPN people would say that. Darren Peterson, most likely candidate, plus his talent. You got to factor that in. All right, DJ and PK, going to take a break. When we come back, your feedback and me amazed at your age and the things you don't know. The age disparity between us is cracking people up. Man, have they got some things to say. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
And now, enough of us. It's time to hear from you. From all your texts, tweets, and posts. This is the best feedback of the day.
Woo! Oh, I was there. It's the best game of my life.
With DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it is time for your feedback. ESPN founder Bill Rasmussen died at the age of 93. What's his legacy? Alex says the best thing's College Game Day, the worst thing's Pat McAfee. Well, you can't be wrong, Alex. It's your opinion, but I would just say no. For me, his legacy is he realized that people didn't want to watch sports just on the weekend during the day. That's when 99% of sports was. World Series, MLB All-Star Game, Olympics, Monday Night Football. Everything else happened between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. That was it. The thought that someone would sit down in prime time and watch sports instead of an entertainment show, are you kidding me? Now it's like, yeah, obviously. Yeah, well, ESPN's the reason. ESPN's the one who started doing college football triple headers, and still they started doing quadruple headers. Everything changed in 1984. 1984, when the Supreme Court decision came along, ESPN pounced. College basketball, they put the opening round of the NCAA tournament on TV and the Sweet 16 on TV. Those happened on Thursdays and Fridays. They weren't on TV when I was in junior high and high school. Horrible. The dark ages. How can America be held hostage like that? ESPN figured it out. Told the story earlier, man. Went over to Phil Lauder's apartment. Hey, Phil, what's going on? I was away at college. I was back. Spring break. It's like 6:30 or something like that. Roll in. He had Louisville, Kentucky on in a Sweet 16 game. What? This is awesome. I think we had plans to go do sauna. Plans are off. We're watching college hoops. Absolutely. Louisville and Kentucky wasn't on TV. Kind of a country were we living in. And now we have more ESPN channels than I had TV channels growing up. Wasn't in New York with all these independents and all that. And it wasn't just him. You know, you hear the stories about Dale Murphy will tell them because he played for the Braves, you know, the Superstation. Yeah, people will watch afternoon baseball. There's an audience at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to watch the Braves or watch the Cubs on WGN. But man, those were few and far between. Bill Rasmussen was on the cutting edge. He was on to something. Now, we've been talking this morning about, as I recounted some of the things that have changed in sports, and I looked at Alex's face, Alex Napolis, our new producer, and Alex's face is kind of bewilderment, craziness, like, how old is DJ? What did he have to grow up with? So you were born in 1999.
99. November of 99.
And so then we were talking about phone booths. I think I have a picture. PK just texted me. He's at an awesome breakfast place. Bum. He's at Uncle Bill's right now. You win. PK wins again. Love Uncle Bill's. That totally threw me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Distracted. Are you guys hiring kindergartners using a phone booth as a bucket list item for kids? That is classic. Yes, it is. Alex has never used a phone booth, but he's heard of them.
I guess I should clarify on that comment. I didn't mean just like your regular typical phone book. I meant like
no
a
phone
bucket,
booth.
Phone booth. Yes. I didn't mean like the regular typical one. I meant like, you know, the cool ones that you see in England. That's the bucket list item.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I should clarify on that because I saw the response and I was like, yeah, that made me sound kind of lame.
This is because I brought up the glass case of emotion, Will Ferrell, right? It's a great meme. So I was driving in Heber City one day, just driving down a city street, kind of from Midway to Heber. I know I was headed from west to east. I forget what street I was on. But I stopped and took a photo because there on somebody's lawn, for no apparent reason, is a phone booth. Old school. They've all been taken out. Phone booths used to be everywhere. There was always a bank of phones in hotel lobbies. You go around the corner from the desk. The desk didn't want to hear people's conversations, so they'd install them around the corner. Where are the phones? They're around the corner. Matty Ice, you guys hiring kindergartners using a phone booth as a bucket list item for kids. I said, well, wait until Alex finds out the phones used to hang on a wall near the kitchen, and if you come racing in from outside on a summer day to get the Kool-Aid out of the fridge, you might get a rope burn on your neck if mom's on the phone and you aren't paying attention. Because mom would talk to do something, and the thing could stretch out, depending on the phone, 5 feet, 20 feet, whatever.
You couldn't put it in your pocket?
No, you could not put it in your pocket. It wasn't a foot long, but it was close. 9, 10, 11, whatever. It was way too big to put in your pocket. And then Matty Ice, this is, you might remember this. Get off the phone. I'm trying to use the internet. AOL dial-up.
I do remember that.
You do remember that. All right.
I was. We had to have stuff like that.
We're out of time. Tomorrow we will again explore the generation gap between DJ and Alex. Ron McBride will be in studio. We got to get Kevin Graham. Friday's leaning towards a pretty full day. Maybe we get Kevin for Football Friday. Maybe we just make it a Thursday. We got to get him. A lot coming up. Coming up next, it's Scotty G and the coach Tim Lacombe. Stay with us right here on The Zone.
Show's over.
And we're done.
We've already run out of time again.
This is where we say goodbye.
Goodbye. Don't say goodbye.
Who'd like to hang around and help clean up?
That ended well.
Bye, bye, bye.